Hello guys, it's me Aaryn, and today I have another video for you. I recently read a book called It Ain't Me Babe, and it's just so special in my heart because of all its racism and the misogyny and the very anti-Semitic undertones that I've officially labeled it the worst book ever. It's by the very interesting Tilly Cole, who really did something when she wrote this book. Let's chat! Woohoo! Big oof. I do want to clarify that this video will be very spoilery because it's very hard for me to rant about everything I hate in a book without talking about everything in it. So I hope that you understand, and I also hope that you still watch this video because I don't want you to avoid spoilers for it, because here's the thing, I don't want you to read it. So this book follows a girl named Salome who does have a name change. We call her May, so we're going to be calling her May. Happy we established that. And she grew up in a Christian pedophile cult in the middle of nowhere. So yeah. In the book, they're called The Order, which, let me just say, out of all of the names to call your very oppressive government, that has got to be one of the laziest. She's labeled as one of the cursed women, and basically they are so beautiful that their only purpose in life can be to lure men off of their paths of righteousness and doing God's will by tempting them with lust. However, she's also prophesied to be the 7th wife of their pope, like their literal messenger to God, because she's seen as so like pure and the key of eternal freedom for their people, or some BS like that. I personally feel like, as a reader and a person with common sense, that, you know, her being a cursed woman and also the prophesied wife of their literal leader, it's going to be a major conflict of interest. But okay. One day she escapes because they killed her sister, and that was a very sad event. Truly a tragedy. But then there's Styx, like the river, because he's a Hades hangman, so, you know, Greek mythology. He is the leader of this motorcycle club, this motorcycle gang, and pretty much he is intimidating and ruthless in every single way possible. Truly, I will not play him on that. However, he does have a speech impediment, so he never speaks verbally to outsiders or people that he doesn't feel comfortable with. He only speaks verbally with his best friend Kai, who in return acts as his translator for when he wants to basically communicate with his cult. Throughout this video, I keep calling them a cult, but they're not actually a cult. I just associate them with cults for some reason. They just have really big cult energy, kind of like the band kids at a high school. So just keep that in mind. Honestly, I would tell you more about Styx, but other than that, there's just nothing else to know about him. I mean, that's his background. I guess he did inherit his little motorcycle group from his daddy, who inherited from his daddy, who inherited from his daddy. So Styx and May actually met between a fence that was keeping the order blocked off from the rest of the world. And honestly, when I read that, I could not get the boy in the striped pajamas out of my mind. I don't know why. So they communicate. Styx kisses her, which is a very big deal because she's very religious and she's been taught that all she does is tip men. And then this random little boy's just kissing her and she's like, what the heck? And he just can't forget about this girl with the wolf eyes that he met 15 years ago. But how they meet in present day is the stupidest thing I've ever read. So it just so happens that while she's escaping, she's basically crawling under the fence through like this very narrow space, and she gets her leg all scraped up, as well as there's this dog that bites her foot, and she's very injured. I believe like after walking for like a day and a half or just into the morning time, she stumbles across this road and this woman is driving down it, and she's obviously very concerned because middle of nowhere in this gown that makes her look like she's from the 1700s and the injury. So she offers her a ride, like, hey, let's get you to the hospital. Town is only like an hour or so away. I'm gonna help you. And I find this peculiar for a couple of reasons. As mentioned before, Styx pretty much met her in the past by just stumbling across her. We can assume that other people did the same thing. However, I thought, well, who knows? Maybe they're in like Oklahoma or Idaho or Wisconsin. However, it's then revealed that they live in Texas and that is near Austin. And this bothers me because the way they explain how the Order has stayed a secret for 20 plus years is that nobody's ever found them. But then again, this 11-year-old kid just randomly stumbles across them one day. And also, this road can't be that far. She was walking towards it with an injury, and she got there in the morning time. And I think it was the morning of the same night that she left, right? So I just find that very peculiar. It's a busier area. So we're just so close to civilization in a very busy state near a very busy area of that state. And nobody has raised a red flag about this society or asked any questions. I don't like it. It's a plot hole to me. It makes no sense. But also, side note, I had no idea that there were forests in Texas. After driving for what felt like 5 minutes while reading, May decides that going to a hospital is a bad plan. Bad course of action. No bueno. And the lady is very adamant about getting her to the hospital until they pass the motorcycle gang's like compound. And May is like, but wait, I'm from here. I live here. You must drop me off. And the lady's like, oh, you're with those people? Go ahead. No complaints from me. After May is dropped off at the motorcycle compound, we cut back to Styx's POV. Also, Styx's POV is literally just this fine.
We all die. You either kill yourself or get killed.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
And we meet some members of the crew. So we're introduced to Kyler, and the way that like Styx describes him in his head is one of the funniest things to me. Effing Kyler Willis, 27, model perfect looks, tall, lean, straight blonde hair that had B vagina creaming. My oldest friend. Number one, I love how it's just one B singular. Number two, I always read it like he's talking about a YA love interest in a novel first, and he's just the hot guy with the tall, lean, long blonde hair. But my biggest problem with Kyler is that literally one of his like traits or little quirks is that he always has sex with these two blondes because they look so similar that they're almost like twins. We hate it. We hate it so much. So then we meet Tank, who I really just want to talk about because, oh honey. So pretty much Styx asked him to do something that I can't remember because I have horrible memory. And it has something to do with his old lady, because in this book, when the men value the female, they call them old lady because I guess that's like motorcycle gang talk. I don't know. So like, let's just read his introduction because I find it mighty enjoyable. Tate cracked a small, proud smile. I'll give her a call. Anything else? He needed to smile. Brother knew he lucked out with his woman, older by a couple of years, blonde, busty, total effing sweetheart. The ex-white supremacy member done good. Still looked like he belonged in the effing KKK, but he was cool now. No beef with anyone, so long as they don't F over the club. His family even went so far as to cover his Nazi ink with some Haiti stuff. Where do we start? Where? Him saying that Tank is good now, to me is like the very dramatic equivalent of people forgiving beauty gurus and just problematic YouTubers who say things like the N-word. You know, they're just like, oh, it's okay. We forgive you. Of course, it wasn't directed at us, but don't worry. We've done the exact same thing in the past. We're all good. I love how he says ex-white supremacy member, like he's saying that he was an ex-Marine. Also, he mentioned how like he still looks like he belongs in the KKK. Honestly, hate to say it, as a black woman, that's like 95% of white guys to me. And then like the whole no beef with anyone, like how about my beef with him? Or, you know, every non-white person's beef with him. Because quite frankly, we don't care about his feelings anymore. Let's say that that guy is so good now, according to Styx, that he happened to go to heaven, which is impossible because he's still a murderer and a thief, and he's still snorting up cocaine every 3 seconds. The whole, like, even went so far to cover up his Nazi crap. Thank you, you brave soldier. It freaks me out. I don't like it. I hate how casual the author is about writing that in. Like, it's just an everyday mistake that people make in joining the KKK. And another thing that like cracks me up is that May is shocked when she finds out that Tink used to be a Nazi. And that just contributes to like the plot hole of the Order and just her background. How was she living a sheltered life where all she learned was just Bible verses and biblical stories, and that she's horrible and that women are lesser creatures, and yet she understands what a Nazi is. Yeah, moving on. Styx is feeling pretty on edge, and like just to capture some of the misogyny, he for starters only refers to the women at the club as sluts and whores and thoughts pretty much, and he goes back and he has sex with one of those sluts because we're going to grate you and use you, right? And literally he says, like, while having sex with her, this is why I keep her around, just for my personal use. Good job, Tilly Cole. You really meet the most likable romantic interest. I have a screenshot of my face when I read that scene, and I just knew how disgusted I looked, so I had to capture it for the camera, for you, as a little treat. If you think that like he just reserves his like just name calling to the women that are actually members of the MC, you are totally wrong. So he's having like a flashback or just reminiscing about May in this one scene. I couldn't help but think of that effing young B from Behind the Fence 15 years ago. You acknowledge that she's young and you're still calling her a B. Another example that just kind of highlights the blatant sexism in this book that we just passed off as being okay is pretty much like May asks a very valid question, and she's literally told that women don't ask no questions, which is the sexist equivalent to children should be seen, not heard to me. So to fill in, they find her passed out, and they kind of just assume that she is a dead body that a rival gang just left on their doorstep. So they're ready to get rid of her. But then Styx is like, but wait, I know her. And Kyler thinks that he's insane because he has also been hearing about this stupid young B from 15 years ago for 15 years. But eventually she wakes up and she does confirm that she knows him, and it is the insta love of all insta loves. If you thought that you read an insta love book before and that it could not get any worse, hello, it ain't me, babe, just takes the cake. Honestly, this is the least developed romance I have ever read. And so they just start to catch up, things are happening, the sexual energy is there. It's like this scene where pretty much Styx and May are kind of acknowledging their feelings for each other, and Styx decides to really just set himself bare with this groundbreaking love confession that I laugh at every single time. And he's verbally speaking to her in the scene, so I'm not like going to be saying his stuttering because that's extra, and also I don't want to, and I feel uncomfortable doing that. I'll lay it on the line for you, babe. I trade illegal weapons for cash and drink far too much. I F sluts regularly and don't commit to no one for long. Maybe never will. I've killed people. I've even liked it. And I'll do it again. You want someone good to take care of you? It ain't me, babe. I gotta go away to my own business. We'll talk when I get back. Figure it out. And people in the Goodreads reading reviews were actually thinking that was so sexy. Honey, he has to like leave on a trip for a while, and he makes it sound like the wild hunt that the Fae go on. So like he sets this guy named Ryder in charge. From the jump, we know that Ryder's going to be a part of a love triangle because it just cannot be an NA romance book without one. Ryder is slowly and surely falling in love with her. And so there's this like really annoying scene to me where they're basically saying, hey Ryder, you don't have sex with the woman here. Why? And he's just saying, oh no, I'm saving myself. And May is instantly like, you're waiting for someone that you love, right? And they have this moment of connection and they just understand each other. And Ryder happens to mention that his dear mommy taught him something that he'll never forget. And he begins to recite, love is patient. Love is kind. And May is like, hey, I know this. They literally just finished the scripture together. Romantic, I guess? So that was like all like the screenshots and tidbits I had regarding this book. I mean, nothing truly notable happens until the end, I guess. So that was like all the screenshots and like little tidbits I clipped out and had. But a couple other things I could mention that just kind of popped up in my mind and that I find laughable is number one, that girl or that slut that Styx just kept around for his own personal use was literally killed off and just shot in the head as soon as Styx broke up with her. Also, there's a scene where Styx gets into a fight with the Nazis, and when he comes back, he has a swastika just carved onto his chest, which made me want to throw up. And there are 3 notable POC characters in this book that are basically non-existent, but one of them is Diablo, who is the leader of like the Mexican gang that was part of the Mexican War. Then the other 2 are Letty and Bull, who are Native Americans. And there's literally a scene where like May is uncomfortable around Letty because she's never seen a person like her before. But the way this book ends is that May is taken back to the Order by Ryder, who has secretly been Brother Kane this whole entire time, and who would have totally not taken her back if May would have just left with him and not with Styx. And while she's there, she's set up to marry the Pope as was prophesized, but the MC gang just crashes the wedding and they save her, as well as her sisters or the other cursed women that the next 2 books follow. Honestly, the series does not get better. I don't think that you should read it or support the author, and I don't think that you should read it or support the author. I was going through the synopsis from the next books, and like one of them is about how like the heir to, and one of them is literally, and okay, I was going through like the synopsis of some of like the I was going through some of the summaries of some of the books later on in this series, and one of them was about how the heir of the white power nation, and the other one is about how the princess of the Mexican king that just smuggles drugs through the borders fall in love one day, which is problematic for many reasons. It's problematic in the same way that people that write romances about slave owner and the slave falling in love are like, no, it's just not okay. So that's actually all I have for you today in this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here and you're not subscribed, I would love it if you joined the gang, but not the MC gang. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I will of course answer them in the comment section as always, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye, see you, love ya.